Welcome, everybody, to our June meeting. I think we've got mostly everybody. Mike is new, but we introduced you last month, and thanks for joining. Thanks for everybody that continues with their membership. It really is really helpful for us. Don't forget, we have a mentor program that mentors would be happy to get with you guys. I've got a couple of announcements. Um, the fair last meeting I thought was really good. Jack really gave you some ideas on. I know the fair is a little ways out for the fall, but like Jonna brought in her piece, now is the time to think about it. And I would really like to see all of us have some pieces at the fair just to show our club its community spirit. And that's really important. I think that's really important. Um, but we'll have more information as we get closer. And don't forget about we've got a new lathe. The club purchased a new lathe, and we've got these lathes for zoo. If you all want to have a session here to practice, and I have mentors available, I know it's mostly on a Sunday afternoon because that's the best time for our landlord. But don't forget, we can do practicing. Anytime y'all uh, want to get together and do that. The big announcement, I thought, if you didn't see it in the newsletter, Rudy Lopez is our national demonstrator, and he comes to our club November 1st and 2nd. That's a Saturday and Sunday, and he will be demonstrating Saturday from like 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We'll have an hour for lunch. He is a phenomenal teacher, you guys. I can't say enough about him. He is really, really good. Sunday, we will have it open for classes for a fee. It will be an extra fee, and we will set up here, and he will actually teach hands-on. We'll have blanks. You bring your tools, and you can actually have a class. Again, that will be about 9 to 4, and you'll have an hour for lunch. So save that date, and more will be coming on that. But he's really a good teacher. November 1st and 2nd. And Alachua Club is invited on the November 1st, where it's open to all members. Alachua Club, the Golden Isles Club, y'all are invited. And I picked a Saturday that is not the day you have your meeting. I made sure of that. So I thought, no, I got to invite those guys. Yeah. So November 1st, and it's a Saturday. It shouldn't interfere with church or anything like that, unless you want to take the class the next day. Okay, that would be a Sunday. So let's see, what else? Pay, what? I, that's a good question. We haven't determined that just yet. Typically, it's been a Don Penny. What has typically been the amount for the class? The hands? 125. And this year, you will be able to go online and pay that and sign up for that. You don't have to write a check. You don't have, this will be online. You can write a check, of course, I'm not saying, but we have till November. We have several months to think about it and see, but it's limited. It's going to be limited to the number of lathes that we have. Right now, we have 6 small mini lathes. So they're the small ones, but Rudy knows that. He was very amiable to that. He said you can do a natural edge bowl, a small one. You can do a goblet. There's lots of things you can do on a small jet 1014. So he was very cooperative and was not fazed by that. And you know what he said to me when I said that? He said, you know what? I'm teaching technique and control. I'm not as concerned as what you're doing it on. So I thought that was interesting. He's really a good teacher. All right, real quick. Our safety officer is not here, but we all need to practice safety. I'll just say that. Pay it forward for those new people. We have a little raffle that we send around. You pull a ticket, and if your name is called, your ticket is called, there's no money involved. This is all free. You will win this little bowl that Rick did last month. He won. And if your ticket is pulled, then you have to bring in just a small little turning for the next person. We call it pay it forward. So I'm going to send the tickets around for that. Just so you know, again, that pen kit is got most of the things you need to get started. Pens are one of the first things I learned how to do. I know it probably doesn't seem fancy schmancy like, you know, these guys do their bowls, but it's instant gratification. It's like doing a Christmas ornament. You get something quick, they're pretty, they're great gifts. They're gifts for somebody that comes to your house and does some work or something. You know, it's just really, it's instant gratification. Now it's a little bit paraphernalia intent. There's lots of little pieces, and to be fair, a long time ago, we purchased a lot of turning supplies from a gentleman that was no longer turning. It was kind of a similar, but we purchased, and he had a whole box. Everything was pens. So that's how we picked it up. But it seems like there's lots of little pieces. That's why, you know, I thought this raffle was really nice, because you can, all right, I'll move on. I'm babbling. Charlie has a bunch of pecan out in his truck. We really need to get that out of his truck. There's lots of big spalted pieces that are really, really nice. Ernie is back. He's been out for a while. Yay! He has so many sanding supplies, you guys. He donated some sanding materials for that pen turning kit. You really need to go over there. There's so much you could get from him in terms of the sanding supplies. Let's see. I have in my bag, I have to find it, a price list of some of the items in that pen turning kit and some that are not in that kit. But if anybody is really interested in pen turning, I have a whole price list. I printed out a few copies. And if you really, you know, again, I know it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but pen turning really is pretty cool. And it's an instant gratification. Bernard, he has a few words to say about some things he's going to sell. Talking to them.
I've been not doing a lot of turning lately. My wife has been ill, and so I've had to cut back a lot. I've got a lot of stuff that I need to get shed of. I can hear it. I don't like this thing, but I've got I guess a storage cabinet thing. It came from, my wife worked at, she was a nurse, worked at Riverside Clinic, and they stored x-rays. And if you remember way back, they were huge. This thing is about 67 inches tall, about 48 inches wide, 18 inches deep because of the size of the x-rays. And there's 4 shelves thing there. It will hold a lot of stuff. It's 18 inches deep. That's what size the x-ray pictures were back then. And I can't read my writing. It's 24 by 1/8 inch thick. The plywood back then was made to last. It's about 7 plies, 3/4 inch, and it is heavy. It's on wheels, but it will take more than 2 people. Don't count on me to help if you come, because I can't do it. The wheels keep it about a 1/2 inch off the floor, so you can roll it to the door of my shop but then it's grass the rest of the way. You would have to have somebody that's got some muscle to help you get it out to your street or your vehicle or whatever. But it's free to anybody that wants to come get it. I'll be glad to get rid of it. I've got a lot of other stuff that might go along with it if you like. I've got some stuff if you want to chip in a couple of dollars, well, that would be fine too. But it's some of it's new stuff. But anytime except Thursday, I'm play golf on Thursday.
Well, we will put it in the newsletter. I got a picture of his list, and y'all need to call him before, don't just show up. And let's try and help him out by help him clean out his garage. Like, we all need help with that. All right, anything else I missed or any other questions or anybody got any announcements? You want to do show and tell? Go ahead, you guys get started, get those that brought stuff, line up behind the table. And I did forget to say, the AAW has the national thing going on June 14th, 15th, and 16th, I think. So I know Tracy's going to it. So it's in St. Paul, Minnesota. All right, Ken.
All right, I just a couple of simple bowls, but something I've done a little differently. This was a twice turn bowl, and when I came back and turned it the second time, I got thinner than I wanted to. Actually, it turned out pretty good. But one of the things I was trying different is the coloring. So when Phil Iron did his thing at the symposium, I said, I got to do this soon before I forget what he did. So I did two different colors. I did a purple and a red. And I come out with a plum, is what I call it. And something else he did was like a reverse turning. Turn it from the underside, you know, reverse it and back. So I tried that on the foot, tenon. Actually turned out pretty nice. Better than I expected. So it's a shellac inside, then a lacquer finish on the backside. So, like I said, first time coloring. There's some mistakes. So there's lessons learned. But it was different. So with the coloring there, I said, I wonder how it would look on oak. So here's a piece of water oaks, another bowl, but the first time I tried with a little bit of a lip. So I did the same coloring technique, the red and the purple. And that's the only two colors I got right now. And again, you can see where it's a little bit spalted. It took on a different look, I guess, in the coloring. But, and did the reverse turning on the backside again. Again, this is all lacquer finish.
Very, very nice. Very nice. John Mounts.
I'm still learning, guys. This is a piece of Norfolk Island pine that I got here. And I just thought I don't know, just a little odd piece that was left over from something, and I made this little bowl out of it. It originally had a branch coming out of each side of it and going into it, and it left the impressions in here. And on your own, you can use your imagination and see if it makes something. The other thing is I'm really into segments, and one of these days I'll learn how to do it. But this is 24 segments, and it actually went together pretty fast. But I did have a few boo-boos in here. But anyway, everything I got is finished with multiple coats of water-based polyurethane. And I'm trying to basically learn how to do bottoms on the bowls. And I look into the bottoms of my bowls and I'm not happy with them. They're not flat enough, and I always have like grooves in them that I don't like to have in them. So anyway, that's what I'm doing, making stuff.
I was going to say, I see some things that could be at the fair, perhaps. Joel, what do you got? Yours too. Well, I don't know, but that's very cool.
This is a piece of pecan that I picked up, and it's got some imperfections, but it's getting better, and it's coated with Wonderlux. And this is a piece of cherry turned into a bowl. And the main thing is I'm having fun doing it.
Is that one warped? Then did that?
Yeah, everything I do warp.
What, because it was wet?
Well, yeah. I mean,
That's cool though. That gives it character.
I turned some golden rain tree,
Uh-huh.
and I've never seen anything move like that in my life. They were bowls, and the next morning they were cracked on the sides. Mark Wood sent me a picture because he and I went and got it,
Yeah.
and he had a hollow form, and it cracked right down the center. He was amazed at how much the wood moved.
Yeah. Actually,
I'm
I
still learning.
have a piece of that rain tree on my lathe right now. Okay. Donna, beautiful vase.
This is a result of 6 glue ups between maple, walnut, and black limba. And then I ended up turning the vase, and then I glued this maple piece on the front of it and turned the neck of it. So yeah, so it's finished with the Mylan's high build friction polish, and then sprayed with a Minwax clear lacquer. And it has it's just bored. It's not a hollow form. It's just bored in there because I have a glass insert that goes in there so you can put water. These are not real, but eventually they'll have real flowers in it. But that's my flower vase.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very, very nice. Very unique. This is what Jack was talking about last month for the fair. Something unique.
This is a piece of sweet gum that a tree in my neighborhood came down, and a friend of mine, we grabbed a few pieces of it. We sealed the ends. I put it in a basket, I covered it up, and then I forgot about it. I never intended to spalt it, but it came out really good. So I will say I intended to spalt it and worked really well. And then I finished it with Chromacraft's lacquer. I used these 2 coats of satin and tried to do then the coat of gloss, but I probably should have used about 4 coats of satin first. I think I might have sanded it to too high a grit and got it too burnished, but I ended up having to put 5 or 6 coats of the gloss on it. But it's my first time using the rattle can stuff, so not too bad. But I have a lot more of this wood, so new pieces coming.
Did you do Trent Bosch? Did you hollow
Yes,
that?
yes, I have the Trent Bosch hollowing system and visualizer, so I use that to hollow it out. And I have the negative rake scrapers that he has, and I use that. And if you feel the inside, it actually came out really, really smooth. They clean it up so nice.
Okay. I thought you had.
I'll be doing this, so I made sure.
Very nice. A fair piece. I could see that at the fair.
This weekend, Harold and Kat and I went over to our Gainesville club, and Dixie Biggs did a carving class. And this was my start of my piece. I'll be working on that. I'll bring it back when it gets finished. And this is a little hollow form that I did with finial. So we don't know what the wood is, and it's got a lacquer finish on it. I went over, Colleen talked about taking advantage of people in the club. I went over and Jack showed me how he does his lacquer finish. So, you know, he's always willing to help with that. It's worth the trip.
And he's had some pieces at the fair. His vases that are real high gloss, they're beautiful. Yeah.
He was an auto guy for his whole lifetime, so he lives and breathes lacquer.
Somebody really willing to teach, too, obviously.
So this is my continued series. Last last month I showed you spalted maple that was finished with 3-part varnish. This is finished with walnut oil. So you can kind of see the difference. It's obviously flatter finish. It also gets darker with the walnut oil. So, and that was from the maple from my front yard. And then this weekend, I decided to do a little experiment. This is with the router, and this is kind of my prototype after hearing Ed do his spiel last month. I decided to take a piece of poplar and just see what I could do. And this was done yesterday, and actually I finished a little bit of the lacquer finish earlier today, as a matter of fact. But the green is a non-grain raising stain, and then the center is actually a painted acrylic.
Harold. Yeah, I know.
So my cousin's daughter has cancer. So I thought I'd make her a wig stand. I'd never made a wig stand before, did a little research for it. Actually, I think it might be a good project for the club if I can find some sources to put through. I got a couple leads on that too. So she's a nice young lady. She's a doctor, travels a lot. So I was trying to get it for that. So I made the stem is a female form. I don't know if you noticed that it's kind of for breast cancer. And then the base is magnolias. I'd looked for anything base-wise. I made 3 bases before I was happy with this one. And this I actually got from the Achalachicola Club, where they had a piece of cherry, and it turned out really pretty. The only thing I was told was that on a wig stand, you want to use polyurethane on the top, not acrylic lacquers or others. Mainly because when you put the wig on there, the moisture will soak into the other, but where it won't on this. You want something that won't soak in and then hold the moisture. I didn't know that. Actually, Dixie Biggs told me that this weekend, so I thought that was pretty good. So the other thing that I did was I was like, this is cool, but she's going to eventually overcome this breast cancer and be healthy. All right. So what do you do with a stand when you're done? Well, if you want to travel, didn't glue it together, made it into pieces. So the idea is that you can take it apart. And I made long tenants so that they'll hold in place, so you don't have to glue them together, and you can stick them in your travel case or whatever. But when you get done, what are you going to do with a wig stand? Well, so that's what this comes in. All right, what is that? They say, okay. So what that is when you flip this over and you put it down this way, you stick that in the middle where the post went, and you got a very beautiful tippy bowl that you can stick your jewelry in or whatever you want, and that'll be functional for the rest of her life, that she can hold away and hopefully never use it again. All right, so that was my project. Thank you.
And I have seen other clubs that do a lot of wig stands. I'm not sure. We'd have to find someone that wants them, All right. Everybody got a pay it forward ticket that wanted one? Let's do that. And then later on, we'll do the raffle for the pen turning, and we'll take a break, but I want you to go out and get pecan. All right, 269. All right, Charlie. Okay, so we'll see what we get next month from you. Anything else? Quick break, and then don't forget, if you want the pen turning kit, I hope we have some takers that will take that. I do not want to bring that home, you guys. All right, 10-minute break.